Welcome to a guide for creating a strength-based education schedule. We are really excited that you're here with the strength-based education community. This video that we're going to be looking at today is really going to, we think, make everything a lot clearer for you regarding what strength-based education is and how it can be implemented with your kids. Again, if you need additional information or would like to look at some resources in the area of strength-based education, please go to www.ourkidsarenotbroken.com. There you'll find some great resources and materials for you. So let's get started. Strength-based education creates a completely unique learning environment based on natural talents for your kids. This is something completely different than we have currently in the public schools. Strength-based education can be used as a standalone program for homeschooling parents, or it can be used to support what's going on in the school system with your kids. But most important, we hope and eventually we believe strength-based education will become the major and primary way that kids learn in our public schools. And we'll talk more about that as we go through perhaps this video, but certainly other videos to come. So let's look at somebody that I think kind of explains what strength-based education is in his own way. Steve Jobs, as we know, probably one of the most successful businessmen in the history of corporations, certainly close up there, and certainly one of the greatest innovators of all time. And Steve Jobs said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition." That's what strength-based education is about, where we want our kids to identify, discover their talents, look at all the opportunities, get excited, get energized, and create their own success, their own culture of success when they know they have natural talents. And when they connect those natural talents to their interests, great things take place. So let's look at a daily schedule. This daily schedule has 5 parts to it. And conversation is critical, and conversation between and among kids and their parents is essential. It's a schedule that can be modified from day to day, but pretty much this is the arrangement that the strength-based education process should follow. It begins, number 1 there, with a strength-based conversation in the morning over breakfast. Having a conversation, perhaps after breakfast, perhaps before breakfast. But it's a conversation between you and your kids, mom and dad sitting down with their kids, or perhaps just mom, perhaps just dad. But and this can be varied from day to day. But the strength-based conversation in the morning primarily looks at your kids' talents and your kids' interests. With this discovery, the self-discovery of those talents, your kids become excited. They become excited because all of a sudden now things become possible for them. Opportunities exist, especially when we combine talents and interests. And then at number 2 there, after the self-discovery, opportunities exist, activities that come about because of it. And this is from self-motivation. Self-motivation. And you look at number 3 there. When we have these activities from opportunities, your kids are combining their talents and their interests, and as a result, they're participating in activities. And we'll talk more about this in detail, but knowledge and skills and results. All kinds of knowledge and skills in a variety of different subject areas occur, but it's all through self-discovery and self-motivation. Kids are interested in doing this. Why? Because it's their talents they're excited about and it's connected to their interests, which of course then is self-energizing. They're excited, they're interested, they've discovered their talents, they're motivated, and now they have all kinds of energy. And here's the interesting part, number 4. The fourth part of this strength-based schedule is where kids now talk with members of the community, other family members, neighbors, your own friends, and they discuss their talents, their interests with other individuals in the community. And the interesting part about this is that we have lots of adult friends, parents have lots of adult friends, certainly family members, that have all kinds of talents and interests that many times go unnoticed because no one even asks them about them. But when your kid has these talents that are discovered and they're motivated and they're energized now, they want to have conversations with other adults about their talents, about their interests, and they're learning things. They're learning things. And when they have various activities that they're participating in that are coming from these their talents and their interests, they are anxious to talk with other people about what they're most excited about. And as a result, then, they self-organize their own learning process, and it becomes terribly exciting for them. Well, towards the end of the day, then, number 5, parents, moms, dads, you sit down with your kids and you talk about the day. You talk about what occurred, what took place. You plan for the next day. And there's what we call self-reflection. They're thinking about the great things that happened during the day, what they learned, how their talents were expanded, what activities they participated in that they created, what knowledge and skills they learned. And the plan then is for the next day. And of course, then it's repeated. Well, let's go into this a little bit more detail. And let's look at the first thing that happens during the day. And that's that conversation with parents and their kids, talking about their talents, talking about their interests. It's a morning strength-based conversation. It's not about problems. It's not about deficits. It's not about what your kids don't know. It's not about homework that they didn't do, or it's not about getting an F on a test or anything like that, or maybe even getting a B on a test when you believe as a parent they should have gotten an A. What we're talking about in these morning conversations are your kids' talents. What makes them unique? What are they really good at? And how do they connect those talents to their interests? And the kids in their conversations with you have a self-discovery. They discover that, well, I can do these things. I have the ability to communicate. I like being in front of groups. I like competition. I like a context to how I do things, which is basically looking at history, looking at how things come about. Anyway, you look at those things, and from that, you have a conversation, interests develop, because you say, basically, well, what interests you about this talent? And there's a self-discovery with that. Next, we look at kids taking control of their own learning. They see opportunities, possibilities. They see from the self-discovery, these talents, these interests. And this is all from the conversations. And guess what? Your kids look at you, their moms and dads, very differently, and you look at your kids in a completely different way as well. Your kids are now in charge of their own learning, their own education. The next step is learning connects to the talents, the interests, knowledge, and skills by way of activities that kids and parents together organize around their talents, around interests. Activities that now build on these talents, build on the interests of your kids, and as a result, they're learning knowledge and skills. From the activities, they want to know new things. They have to find this out. They go to the internet. They talk to you, their parents. They read some books. They read some magazines. They watch what's on television. The point is, they are learning knowledge and skills all connected to their talents, to their interests. This could be in the area of science. This could be in the area of social studies, their language arts, communication skills, writing skills. But it's all connected to their talents and interests. So they're really excited and they're completely energized by this. A whole new sense of energy develops. Next, with this new energy, they're interested in talking to more people. And all of a sudden, they may realize that, the neighbor next door or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin has some real special talent or interest in some of the things that they're interested in. So they begin these conversations. They connect with their peers, other kids, community members, parents. Their parents know neighbors that have skills. Now, the one part we didn't mention, and that has to do with their peers, is if they're having communication with their peers, they may find out that their friends may also have some very deep interests as well in some of the things that they're interested in, or mutual talents. And together they work on exploring new ideas to build upon their talents and their interests, and we call that knowledge and skills. So they're organizing, they're self-organizing their education, their learning process with friends, with peers, as we said, community members, family members. Next, the end of the day comes, and we call this the afternoon strength-based conversation. They're talking again with you, the parent, about their day, what they learned, the excitement that they have, and they're planning for the next day, things they want to do. Let's say they want to go on a field trip. They want to go someplace to find out more about their talents, their interests. They'll gain knowledge and skills. They're reflecting on it. And these are some of the great things that take place through the conversations when they're grounded in the natural talents and the interests of your kids. That's the strength-based education schedule. It begins with the conversation in the morning. Through self-discovery, talents, and interests lead to opportunities that your kids see as possible to build on their talents and interests. They're motivated, self-motivated. They're not told what to do. They want to do things. They're excited. They're interested. They then think about activities that they could do to build on their talents and their interests. They can talk to you about these things. Resulting from this is knowledge and skills. They need to learn new information. They need to learn new skills because it's all connected to what they're most interested in. And as a result, they become highly energized in this learning process. From that, they then consider, well, let's see, who's in the community? What about Uncle Joe? Maybe I have some good friends that are also interested, and they form collaborations in this strength-based community with their peers, with friends, neighbors, family members. And they self-organize their learning. They put it together themselves, and that's what's the most exciting part. And then ending the day, as we said, we have these conversations. Parents, their kids get back together. They have conversations. It could be at the dinner table. And it's all self-reflection. It's not deficit-based. It's not, how come you didn't do something? How come you didn't meet this requirement? How come you're not doing your homework? No, it's all based on what are the great things that are happening? What skills did you learn? What knowledge did you learn? What more do you want to learn? And let's plan for the next day. So this is the strength-based education schedule. If you would like more information about this, one of the links that we have for you is ourkidsarenotbroken.com/homeschooling. You'll see a lot of information on there. While we have it under the heading of homeschooling, it certainly is not limited to that. It certainly can be supportive of what's going on in your kid's classroom. Again, as usual, you have any questions, you'd like more information, please contact us at ourkidsarenotbroken.com. We promise to get back to you in 24 hours. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Go over to ourkidsarenotbroken.com for more information about strength-based education in general terms, or if you'd like more information about the strength-based schedule, we have some more detail, a lot more information on it. Go to ourkidsarenotbroken.com/homeschooling. We hope to see you in the next video. You'll get it in a couple of days, continuing with our strengths-based education discussion and conversation. And one of the things we'd like to ask of you, if you have some friends with kids, have them sign up, become part of our strength-based education community. We would like to have them involved, and so much more is planned. We're really excited about the things coming, and we're delighted that you're here with us. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.